Good afternoon. The shir is Eila Nishmas, the yahrzeit today of Shmuel David ben Binyamin, Leila Nishmato, and also Leila Nishmas Elimelech ben Levi Yitzchak, Osher Shmuel Chaim and Ephraim Vitziona, Tzvi Dov ben Chaim Pesach, Yitzchak ben Sarah, Devorah bas Yitzchak, Fred ben Richard, Leila Nishmas Devorah bas Yitzchak, Avram ben Mordechai David, Reuven ben Shmuel, Chana Golda bas Yisrael, Yeshua ben Shmuel, Chaim ben Fega, Yaakov ben Yitzchak, Mordechai Netzach ben Rivka, Zamalei ben Moshe, Amichai ben Yaakov, Leila Nishmatam. Today's shir is Sprecher HaOmer, a 7-week crash course in Kabala. Before we begin, did you hear the story about this Baal Tshuva couple? All my stories are true, but some did not occur yet. There's this Baal Tshuva couple that became from during the Sphira. So they didn't know much. In fact, they didn't know anything. So we taught them the laws of Sphira. And one of the laws of Sphira is that if you didn't daven Ma'ariv yet, and you didn't count Sphira, and it's nighttime, and someone asks you what count it is, you say yesterday was 25. Because if you say the date, you can't say a bracha. So that halacha they learned. They didn't know much else, right? But that they knew. So, Baal Tshuva couple didn't know much. So the husband comes home from work at night, and he says, honey, what's for dinner? So the wife said, did you count Sphira yet? He says, no, I did not. So she said, well, last night we had schnitzel. Didn't count Sphira yet. They didn't know much. Okay, they didn't know much. Anyway, Sprecher HaOmer, right? Sprecher HaOmer, there's a strange halacha in Sprecher HaOmer. Ma nishtana Sprecher HaOmer mishar kol mitzvot. Kiddush, I can make a shliach to make Kiddush. Shofar, Megillah, Havdalah, Shmei Ka'oneh. Right? If someone makes Kiddush Havdalah for me, someone blows shofar for me, I'm Yotzeh. But by Sprecher HaOmer, the Gezeres HaKoftzah says, the Magen Avraham Orchaim Siman Tov Peites, that Kol Echad Tzorech Lisbor La'atzmo, Ve'eino Yotze B'Sfirat Chaveiro. Ma Nishtana Sprecher HaOmer, where you can't be Yotze with your friends counting. It's not like Kiddush and Havdalah and Shofar and Megillah. No. Why? The Ramah doesn't say why. Magen Avraham just says, Kol echad tzorech lispor la'atzmo ve'eino yotze mesfiras chaveiro. What's the reason? Why can't you make a shliach to count like you can by Havdalah and Kiddush and Shofar and Megillah? So Apika Kabala, because every Jew is unique and special. And no one can do it my way. So each one have tikkun olam to contribute. No one can count my way. The purpose of the count is to make every Jew count. The purpose of the count is to make every day count, right? Every Jew counts. So therefore, Sprecher HaOmer commands us to make time count. And no one can count time the way I can. We're all custom built, all custom made. And therefore, I can't be Yotze with someone else's counting. It's not like Kiddush and Havdalah. Or like what? Shofar or Lulav or Megillah, where someone else can do. Not Lulav, Slicha. I'm glad somebody's listening. I mean like Shofar, right? Megillah, okay? The word Usfartem comes from the Hebrew sapphire. A sapphire, right? Each day must be counted like a precious sapphire. And we count up. You know, in the Cape Canaveral, they count down. Right, Avram? But we count up. Why? Like you always say, moving on up. We move up. Malin Bakodesh, ain't below Meriden. So the question is, how come ladies don't have to count? How come ladies don't have to count? So the Zohar explains, we count 49 days because we were in Memtesh Sharei Tumah. So we count 49 days. We were in 49 levels of tumah. So every day we count to shed one level of tumah. So by the 50th day, we shed the 49 levels of tumah. On the 50th day, we're ready to accept the Torah. But since the ladies were never in Memtesh Shadei Tumah, Sarah, right. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So the Zohar explains, women were never in 49 levels of Tumah. So they don't need the counting. You ladies are already there. We have to shed the Memtesh Shadei Tumah, but you ladies were not in 49 levels of Tumah, so therefore, Elisheva, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, okay? Now, we're counting the HaOmer. What's it all about? The 7 Sfirot, 7 times 7, 49. What are the 7 Sfirot? What do you mean we count the Sfira? So the 7 Sfirot are actually 7 attributes that God uses to run the world. 7 attributes that God uses to run the world. Number 1 is Chesed. Number 2 is Gevurah. What does Chesed mean? Loving kindness. What does Gevurah mean? Restraint. Charlie Atlas? No. Eze Gibor HaKovesh Es Yitzro. We'll explain what that means. Strength means restraint. Right? Number 3, Teferet. Number 4, Netzach. Number 5, Hod. Number 6, Yesod. And the last one is what? Malchut. We'll explain what they are. So the human attributes reflect the 7 supreme attributes that God appears in his relationship to what? To us. So the 7 Sfirot represent the emotional and pragmatic levels of the human character. So interacting of the Sfirot is the way God shows his shefa on the world. How do you say shefa in Hebrew? Shefa is flow. Go with the flow. Now, chesed, loving kindness. Too much loving kindness, if it's not controlled, who represents chesed? Abraham. Uncontrolled loving kindness can produce a Yishmael. Who comes from Abraham? Abu Mamzer. Uncontrolled chesed with no limitations, that can produce a Yishmael. Right? Yes. Gevurah, too much restraint, too much pachad and yira, Yitzchak Avinu can produce what? An Esav. Tiferet, Yaakov is the blend. He takes the chesed of his grandpa, Abraham. He takes the gevurah, the restraint of what? Of his father, Yitzchak, and he makes a chulant. The perfect blend is what? Tiferet, to produce the shiftei kah. The word ahava comes from the root hav. What does hav mean? Give. Constantly giving. Constantly giving, right? Constantly giving with no checks and balances can be counterproductive, right? Right? So Gevurah represents the fear and awe of God, God's judgment. Chesed is tender love. Gevurah is tough love. David, but it's all love. Chesed is tender love. Gevurah is tough love, right? But you need the Tiferet to blend them. To blend them. As we said, unchecked chesed can be harmful. Too much chesed cannot be beneficial. There's a pasuk in Parshas Hazinu, Vayishman Yishurin Vayivat. When Israel waxed fat, when they got everything like in the Midbar, right? They got Dan Quayle, they got the Mum, they got the Be'er Shel Miriam, they got everything, unlimited chesed. What happened? They kicked, they rebelled, right? They rebelled. Sometimes a loving parent has to restrict the chesed. The kid says, give me space. You're smothering me with too much chesed. You want to teach a child how to walk. What does the parent do? He pulls back. He pulls back. If every time the child is about to fall, if the parent would catch him, Aaron, the kid would grow up to be a cripple. If he doesn't learn how to fall, he'll never get up and learn how to walk. If that's true in the physical world, the Chama, it is certainly true in the spiritual world. So God has to pull back the chesed behind the gevurah, otherwise we'll never develop. We'll be spiritually cripples. And God loves us too much for that. He doesn't want vayishman yishurin vayivat, right? So therefore God has to temper the chesed in order not what? To spoil us rotten, like in the Midbar. We had everything. And yet we rebelled because we had everything. That's the lesson. So the chesed has to be tempered by a gvura in order for the person to be able to absorb the chesed without becoming a welfare case. A welfare case? No self-respect. Right? When I was a kid growing up in Williamsburg, I remember the Puerto Ricans were sitting on the stoop, playing dominoes and drinking beer, and waiting for the welfare check. Right? Too much chesed, you don't become a mensch. You can't develop yourself. If you don't fall to stand on your 2 feet, you won't be able to walk, learn how to walk. And that's true in the physical world. It's certainly true in the spiritual world. In order not to be spiritually crippled, God has to apply the brakes. And even if we fall, you get up and you try again. Sheval yipol tzadik v'kam. And that's true not just in the physical world, but certainly in the spiritual world. Now, what are the sfirot? What are the sfirot? They are God's midot, measures, attributes, qualities, vessels, and tools that God uses to control the world. The word svira, we said, comes from Pashas Mishpatim. By Kabala Torah, it says in Pashas Mishpatim, Exodus 24, by Matan Torah, Vayirat Elahei Yisrael, the Jews saw the God of Israel, and they saw Kemase Livnat HaSapir. They had a mystical vision of God, and they saw that his throne was made out of sapphire. Sapphire. Remember sapphire? Who remembers Amos and Andy? Sapphire. Kemase Livnat HaSapir. So what did the Jews see in Exodus 24? They saw the sfirot emanating from HaKadosh Baruch Hu Kaviyachol. They saw the sapphire, the shiny lights. And it's called sapphire because each day has to be appreciated and counted as it would be what? A precious sapphire. Today is the first day of what? Of the rest of your life. So the Jews saw these shiny lights that reveal and express God's greatness. God is the Ein Sof. God illuminates his creation through the 7 sfirot, but they're actually, Nechama, 7 portals. A peek into God's world. They're a peek into God's world. God created everything in 2. Why does the Torah begin with Bereshit, with a bet? Number 2. Everything is created in 2. Double your pleasure, double your fun. Zochar nekeva. God created male and female, right? God created guf and neshama. He created body and soul. He created Torah sheba'al peh, Torah shebeksav. He created Torah's niglav and Torah's nistar. Sfirat HaOmer is a peek into the hidden world of God, into the Kabbalistic hidden world of God. God created Olam Hazeh and Olam Haba. Everything he created, this world and the next world, the 7 sfirot are a peek into Olam Haba, a peek into eternity. Everything he created in 2. Why? Because he's the only one. Everything else is 2. He's the one and only, but everything else is 2. So the 7 sfirot are windows into Olam HaNistar, a peek into God's world. We live in the Olam HaNigla. We're fooled by the smoke and mirrors of what? of Donald Trump and Wall Street and Madison Avenue. That's all smoke and mirrors. The 7 Sfirot are 7 filters, Sarah, to filter out all the sheker, the smoke and mirrors of Olam Hazeh, to look into God's world. God's love is unconditional, but sometimes he has to temper that love with tough love that we call what? Gevurah, restraint. So therefore God contracts himself. In a Kabbalistic term, Chanoch, it's called tzimtzum. And therefore this world is called Olam, Chava. Olam from the word Ne'elam. He hides behind the Sfirot. Because if God didn't hide behind the Sfirot, if he would reveal himself in all of his glory, we would have no free will. We'd be spiritually crippled. So if a parent wants to teach a child to walk, the parent hides behind the curtain and lets the child fall. Otherwise he'll be a cripple. So God hides behind the 7 curtains, Sarah. What are the 7 curtains? The 7 Sfirot. To allow us to learn to walk in the spiritual world. But if you never fall, you'll never get up. Sheva yipol tzadik v'kam. God doesn't want puppets. God wants partners for tikkun olam. So v'alachta b'drachav, to walk in God's ways. When you truly love somebody, you must not crowd him. You've got to pull back, give me space to develop on my own and even to fall on my own. You have to let the child fall. Otherwise, he'll never learn how to stand on his 2 feet. If that's true in the physical world, Ray, it's certainly true what? How much more? Because the physical world is only a reflection, David, of what? Of the spiritual world. That's all it is, right? So you got to pull back behind the Sfirot. Sheval yipal tzadik, says a pasuk in Mishlei, v'kam. So pasuk pshat is, the tzaddik will fall 7 times. So why is he a tzaddik? Because he gets up. Baal Shem Tov said, no, Shirley. Only when a person falls 7 times and he doesn't give up and he keeps on trucking, he doesn't fall into despair despite failing 7 times. He doesn't give up. He continues to try to improve himself. Only then can he be considered what? A tzaddik.
What's 7 times, Rabbi?
Good question. I'm glad you came today. Even Ezra, why 7? Why not 19 or 4? The Even Ezra says that the word 7 in Tanakh means many. Even Ezra says in Tanakh, when the Navi wants to tell me many, he says 7. So that's a dugma for many. The tzaddik will fall. Even Ezra asks your question. If the tzaddik will fall 7 many times, and he doesn't give up despite the failures. If at first you don't succeed, Abraham, try again. You don't fall into despair. Only then have you a right to be called what? A tzaddik. And therefore, the place where Baal Tshuva stands, a goody two-shoes can't reach there. And it's amazing. Today is Pesach Sheni. Oh, you're going to love this. No coinky dinky, today's Pesach Sheni. What does Pesach Sheni teach? Says the Lubavitcher Rebbe, Al Pi Kabala, Chanoch, B'derech v'choka. Someone's B'derech v'choka. He's off the derech. He's tamei. He gets a second chance. Pesach Sheni, it's never too late. No matter you're fakrochen b'derech v'choka. You're off the derech. God says you're never off the derech. You can always come back. Now, the Talmud says that Baal Tshuva stands much higher than a tzaddik gomor. What's the source for that statement? Why should a Baal Tshuva stand better than a tzaddik gomor? Says the Baal Shem Tov. Api Kabala, the source is Pesach Sheni. Pesach Rishon is 7 days. That's the Tzaddik Gomer. He needs 7 days to get the Kedusha. Pesach Sheni is the guy's b'derech rechoka. He's off the derech. He's tamei. He's fakrochen. But he does tshuva. He doesn't need 7 days for the tikkun. For him it's enough what? 1 day. Reb Chanoch, amazing Baal Shem Tov. The awesome power of tshuva. The Baal tshuva is better than the Tzaddik Gomer. How does the Gemara know that? Says the Baal Shem Tov from Pesach Sheni. Pesach Rishon, that's the goody two shoes. Tzaddik Gomer, he needs 7 days of Kedusha. Pesach Sheni is the guy's b'derech rechoka. He's off the derech, literally, tamei. He does tshuva me'ahava. He doesn't need 7 days. Pesach Sheni is only what? 1 day. So you see, the Baal Tshuva is better than what? Tzaddik Gomer. The proof is not in the pudding. The proof is in the days of Kedusha, says Baal Shem Tov. Tzaddik Gomer needs 7 days of Pesach. The Baal Tshuva needs 1 day. So a guy falls and he gets up, he becomes better for it.
One sphera for the,
what?
One sphera for the second Pesach.
That's a separate shear, okay? That's a cliffhanger. But now we want to talk about God pulls back behind the Sfirot to give us Bechira Chofshis, not to crowd us. Because if he wouldn't pull back, Nechama, we'd be robots. We would be spiritually crippled. So God pulls back behind the 7 curtains, or the 7 Sfirot, to allow us to fall, get up, and do it my way. Only through freedom of choice can we develop spiritual growth and progress. Only when the going gets tough, do the tough, get going, or go shopping. You make the call. Right? Right? The going gets tough, the tough get going. God speaks to us through our struggles. Sorot are tough love. Suffering is the stairway to heaven. Who said that? No, not Led Zeppelin. The Vilna Gaon, before Led Zeppelin, Lahavdil Elef Avdalot, the Vilna Gaon Sarah said that the stairway to heaven is based on Matai. Matai, David, is an acronym. FBI, CIA, NYPD. Matai, says Vilna Gaon. Mem stands for mitzvot, Tov stands for Torah, and the Yud stands for Yisurin. Yisurin, suffering. Matai, Mem, mitzvah, Tov, Torah, but it ain't enough. The stairway to heaven also includes the Yud. Yud stands for Yisurin. What's Yisurin? Troubles. That's the stairway to heaven. Now you know where Led Zeppelin is coming from.
That's right.
They got everything from us. Now, the 7 Sfirot, if you take a look at your sheets now, the entire Kabbalistic scheme of the Riyah Kadosh, people say, where does Kabbalah come from? Chaim, you have the sheet? Where's Kabbalah come from? Did the Ari make it up? The 7 Sfirot, based on the Lurianic Kabbalah, where does it come from? Everything in the oral Torah, not everything, but 99% has to have a source where? In Tanakh. The entire Kabbalistic scheme of Kabbalah is based on one pasuk in Tanakh. You have number 711. Oh, Sharona, 711, right? First Chronicles, pasuk 11. The top of the page says 7, but it's actually 711, get it? But it's actually Chronicles 29, pasuk 11. The entire Kabbalah is based on this pasuk, Hanoch. L'cha Hashem Hagidula. This is King David talking shortly before he dies. Sarah, you have that? I think it's in yellow there, no? Number 11, this is Chronicles 29, pasuk 11. This is King David talking. L'cha Hashem Hagidula. They call him the great king. To you, Hashem, is greatness. When Marco Rubio pulled out of the race, which pasuk did he quote? Chanoch. Marco Rubio is a decent, God-fearing person. The day he pulled out of the race, Rabbi Abraham, you can Google it, he quoted Chronicles 29:11. Did he know he's quoting a Kabbalistic verse? He quoted this verse, L'cha Hashem HaGedulah. To you, God, is the great chesed. Who is that? Who personifies chesed? Avram Avinu. But unchecked chesed can produce an Abu Mamzer. V'hagvura. To you, God, is the great restraint, kibush, pachad, yira. That represents whom? Yitzchak. But again, unrestrained restraint can produce an Esav. V'hatiferet. Yaakov is the beautiful blend between chesed of his grandpa and gevurah of his father to produce the shiftei ka. That's tiferet. David, that's the chulent. The mix. So he had the whole Kabbalah. People say, where's the Ari coming from? Did he make it up? It comes from one pasuk in Tanakh, 1 Chronicles 29:11. Cha Hashem HaGedulah, you're the great chesed HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Avraham Avinu, the 7 shepherds, the 7 sfirot, the 7 weeks, the 7 attributes, they all come together. Gevurah, Yitzchak, Tiferet, Yaakov, V'hanetzach. What does Netzach mean?
Victory.
Netzach means eternity. Who is that? Which shepherd is that? Moshe Rabbeinu. Why is that? 3,328 years later, we still call him Moshe Rabbeinu. He's been dead for over 3,300 years. Why do we call him Moshe Rabbeinu? Eternity. A piece of the rock. A piece of the rock. Moshe's Netzach. Eternity. We're studying Moshe's Torah. Zichri Torah's Moshe Avdi. The last Navi. Who's the last Navi, David? Malachi. Malachi. He says, remember, God says, remember the Torah, Moshe Avdi. God just said, remember my Torah. He says, no, remember what? Torah's Moshe Avdi. What do you mean? It's Moshe's Torah? What does Malachi mean? He should have said, God should have said what, David? Remember my Torah. So the Talmud teaches, no. When you study Torah, it becomes yours. You become a piece of the rock. So we are a piece of the rock. Netzach, eternity. Just like the Torah is eternal, and we study Torah, we become eternal. And that's personified by Moshe Rabbeinu. 3,328 years later, he's still Moshe Rabbeinu. Vahod. What does Hod mean? Hod means total submission to God. Submission. Which shepherd is that? Aaron. Why is that? When Aaron a Cohen's 2 kids were struck dead, he could have complained, Vayidom Aaron. The English word dumb, look in the Webster dictionary, Chanoch. The English word dumb comes from the Hebrew Vayidom. It's not a slang word. Dumb means to remain silent. Vayidom Aaron, Aaron remained silent when his 2 kids were struck down on the first day the Mishkan was inaugurated. And that's where a moment of silence comes from. It's not Goyish. How did Aaron honor his dead sons? How? By remaining silent. It's not a Goyish thing. Aaron submitted to God's will, a moment of silence. That's total submission to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's the midah of what? Hod. Number 6, Kichol b'shamayim v'oretz. You, God, are the foundation of heaven and earth. This is King David talking, right before he dies. Kichol b'shamayim v'oretz. You, God, are the yesod of heaven and earth. Which shepherd is that, Yesod, Sarah? Yosef HaTzadik. Wasn't he the foundation of the world? If it wasn't for him, the entire Middle East would have starved to death. He was better than Alan Greenspan and Ben Bernanke and Janet Yellen all rolled into one. They all happened to be Yidden, not a coinky-dinky. Right?
Yeah.
Yosef HaTzadik, Hu HaMashbir, right? He was the Yesod, because without him, the entire Middle East and his family would have starved to death. So that's Yosef HaTzadik. L'cha Hashem, what's the seventh sfirah? Ha-mamlacha. To you, God, is kingship. Which shepherd is that, Sarah? David HaMelech. Achron Chaviv. King David says, I'm the great king. L'cha Hashem ha-mamlacha. To you, God, is kingship. I'm just your messenger boy. The great king of Israel. And therefore, we do something very strange. In middle of Kiddush Levana, we start singing, David, Melech Yisrael, Chai, Chai, Vekayam. Why do you do that in the middle of Kiddush Levana? Ma inyan Shmita Eitzel Har Sinai. Just because it's a nice song. What are you singing me the Kiddush Levana for? Madua.
Still there, right?
What's it got to do with Kiddush Levana, Sarah? So sing it, I don't know, sing it on HaOmer. Why do you sing it mid Kiddush Levana? The Talmud says that the Levana has no light of its own. The Levana is only a pale reflection of the sun. Has nothing on its own. Nothing. The Levana is nothing. It's a miskan. It's a reflection of the sun. So David Melech Yisrael says, you say I'm the great king. I'm just like the Levuna. Shein vide Levuna. Remember that song? I'm just like the Levuna. I'm nothing on my own. I have nothing. All I am is a reflection of what God gives me. So during Kiddush Levana, King David says, I'm like the Levuna. Don't give me any covet. Ha-mamlacha, l'cha Hashem ha-mamlacha. It's all God. I'm only like the moon. I have nothing on my own. And therefore, he's the Melech HaMashiach. He's the Melech HaMashiach, the great king. But he's nothing. He's the Levana. The light of the moon is nothing. It's only a pale reflection of the sun. So you think you know these seven sfirot, right? The seven sfirot, King David, all of the seven sfirot was said by King David. The entire Kabbalistic scheme, Chanoch, is based on one pasuk in Chronicles 29:11, said by whom? King David, right before he dies. Everything in the world, all of my power and glory is nothing. It's all emanations from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's a freebie, says the great king. Now you know why he's the Melech HaMashiach. Oh. Yes, Nechama?
The seven during Sukkot, we invite...
Beautiful. Oh, Nechama, glad you came today. These seven shepherds are invited into our sukkah.
Very good.
But why not on Pesach? Why don't we invite them on Shavuos? That's a separate shir, Nechama. You put a bee in my bonnet. Nechama is asking a bomb kasha. You hear this, Yochana? We invite these seven shepherds, represented by the seven sfirot, when? On Sukkot. We don't invite them on Pesach, and we don't invite them when? On Shavuos. Why not? That's a cliffhanger for Sukkot. That's a cliffhanger. Lingi, I'm not joking. That's a Sukkot shir. Ma nishtana Sukkot. That the seven shepherds don't come to my house on Pesach and Shavuos. They only come what? Sukkot. If you analyze the question carefully, half of the answer is where?
In the question.
They don't come to my house. They come to the sukkah. Because the Zohar says the sukkah is a virtual Gan Eden. I'll let the cat out of the bag. The sukkah is a make-believe Gan Eden. Where are the seven shepherds? In Gan Eden. They're not going to come to my Seder. They're going to leave Gan Eden to come to my living room. Forget about it. But the Zohar says, the Ari explains, that the sukkah is a make-believe virtual Gan Eden. So the shepherds come there because Gan Eden to Gan Eden. But they're not to why should they come to my living room to leave the Lechtige Gan Eden? But the Riyah Kodesh explains on Peter Zohar that the Sukkah is a virtual Gan Eden. So the shepherds are what? Beam me down, Scotty. Okay, that's for Sukkahs. I don't want to get sidetracked. So therefore they only come to my Sukkah. Okay. So where was I? So these 7 shepherds of Israel, right? Who represent what? The 7 Sfirot. Right? The 7 Sfirot. Now, we count up. We don't count down, right? Because Malam Bakodesh, right? A mitzvah that comes once a year demands a Shechiyanu. What am I, chopped liver? How come Sfirat HaOmer does not get a Shechiyanu? Mitzvah comes once a year, get a Shechiyanu.
Till the end.
What? Doesn't know. Nothing to do with the end. The first day you count, you should make a Shechiyanu. So I'll give you the halakhic answer, and I'll give you the Kabbalistic answer. What do you want to hear first? The halakhic, the Ran in the end of Sech Psachim gives the halakhic answer. He says, you're counting the Omer. What do you mean you're counting the Omer? What does that mean? The Omer was a kilo of barley that they brought on the Mizbeach. When? Second day of Pesach. So when you bring a kilo of barley on the Mizbeach, begin to count. Torah connects it. Today, we have no Mizbeach. We have no Beis HaMikdash. We have no Korban Omer. So it's a downer, says the Ran. When I'm counting the Omer, I remind myself I can't bring the Korban Omer because I have no Mizbeach and no Beis HaMikdash. Right? I don't have a Beis HaMikdash, so it puts a damper on things. And therefore, you can't make a Shechiyanu because you're Tzat Atzuv. You Tzat Atzuv, says the Ran, because it reminds us that we cannot bring the Korban Omer because we have no Mizbeach and no Beis HaMikdash. In order to make a Shechiyanu, you have to be what? In a happy mood. So that's the halakhic explanation. The Zohar gives a Kabbalistic interpretation. The Zohar says that on Pesach was the erison between God and the Jewish people. You know, a Jewish wedding consists of erison and nesuin. Did you know that, Nechama? Good thing you came today. A Jewish wedding consists of 2, erison and nesuin. You ever wonder why the rabbi reads the ketubah in the middle of the ceremony? No one knows what he's saying anyway. It's all in Aramaic. What is he doing there? The caterer is not ready yet. The photographer has to reload the camera. What's he doing, Sarah? What's he mumbling there? Why is it red? You know why? Because in Jewish law, Lingi, marriage consists of erison and nesuin. So we read the ksuba, even though the caterer is ready, we have to make a demarcation, dividing between the erison and the nesuin. So the ceremony before the ketubah, that's what? The erison. After the ketubah, the second part of the ceremony is what? The nesuin. In the days of Tanakh, they waited months between the erison and the nesuin. Right? Today they do it together, but you still have to have what? Downtime. You have to time out. So what do? You read the ketubah. In the days of Tanakh Chaim, erison, the couple were married, but they no lovey-dovey. Even though they're married, they can't be with each other. Only when they have the nesuin can they be lovey-dovey. You sitting down, Nechama? Says the Zohar, Pesach was the erison. And therefore the matzah was round. Why is the matzah round? My endless love. Who sang that? The Zohar says the matzah is round, that's the wedding band between God, that God gave to the Jewish people. That's the erison, the tabat, around matzah. But we still can't be together. We count 7 weeks. 7 weeks later was the nesuin. Kaf aleim har kegigis. When God held a mountain over our heads. Why did he do that? Shotgun wedding? In Virginia, it's called a shotgun wedding. Lingi, that's no way to begin a relationship. Moshe. No, the Zohar says it. That was the chuppah. Kaf aleim har kegigis, that was the chuppah. That's the nesuin. You know what? On Shavuos morning, before you read the Ten Commandments, Ashkenazim read Akdomus. What does Sephardim read? A ketubah, Chayim, it's amazing. That was Sephardim Shishul. Ashkenazim read Akdomus. The Sephardim don't read Akdomus, they read a ketubah. On Shavuos morning, before you read the Ten Commandments, Sephardi shuls read a ketubah. Don't you see? So the Zohar says, therefore you don't make a shechayanu what? On Sfirat Omer, because that's only the Erison. The Choshen and Kala can't be reunited yet. Reunited and it feels so good. But that only happens 7 weeks later. So there's tsar there. Because the Kala, Knesset Yisrael, is only in Arusa. And only when the chassan puts the mountain over our heads, that's the nesuin. So there's a longing there. Unfulfilled longing. And therefore, you can't make a shechiyanu. And therefore, shechiyanu waits until when? Shavuos. That's when the nesuin come together right now. That's only the nesuin. And therefore, before you read the Ten Commandments Shabbos morning, Sephardi congregations read a ketubah. And therefore, the Shechiyonu waits until when? Shavuos. Till Shavuos, right? Very interesting, right? Till Shavuos. Now, Sfiras HaOmer teaches us to make time count. Hinli muchanim zuman. Hinli muchanim zuman. What does that mean? I'm preparing myself to count the Omer. The word mezuman comes from the word zman. Time. Prepare. God gives us time to prepare. As the Mishnah says in Masechta Avot, Olam hazeh doimel leprozdor. This world is compared to what? A vestibule? What does that mean? A lobby. Hasken atzcha beprozdor, prepare yourself. Zman, mizuman. Beprozdor, prepare yourself in the corridor in order to enter what? The traklin. So, hini mucham zuman from the word zman. God gives us time to prepare ourselves for eternity. The Spheros helps us do that. There's past, present, and future. Why is the present called the present? It's a gift. Past, present, and future. Abraham, why is the present called the present? It's a gift. Don't you get it? Sfiras HaOmer teaches us to count each day, to make each day count. Get it? Today is the first day of the rest of your life. Wow. There's a famous poem that my Rebbe Rapam Zatal taught me. I'll say it to you the way he taught it to us. Odam doeg al ibud damav. Ve'eno doeg al ibud yamav. Damav enam ozrin. The yamav enam chozrin. Did you get it? Adam doeg al ibud damav. A person worries that he loses money on Wall Street. Ve'eno doeg al ibud yamav, but he doesn't care that he's losing days on Narishkeiten, smartphone, dumb phone, WhatsApp, Facebook. He doesn't worry that he's losing days. Damav enam ozrim. His money will not help him on the day of death. The yamav eno chozrim. And his lost days will never return. What's written on Abraham's and Sarah's matzeva? Nechama, you listening to me? The Torah tells me what's written on Abraham and Sarah's matzeva. You know what's written? And Parshas told us, Va'avraham v'Sara zikenim boyim bayomim. That's written on the tombstone. The Torah says, Abraham and Sarah were old. They came to Olam Haba with all of their days. What an epitaph. Not even one day was wasted. Avraham and Sarah zikenim, when they died, boyim bayomim, they counted Sphira every day of their life. They came to Olam Haba with all of their days intact. Not even one day wasted.
Wow.
What a tribute that God is paying Abraham and Sarah. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. Atem nitzavim hayom, the Torah says. When Shlomo HaMelech builds the Beis HaMikdash, in Kings 1, chapter 8, he makes a prayer, Chava. You know what he says? Kings 1, chapter 8. Umishpat amo Yisrael devar yom beyomo. Judge your people Israel day by day. Devar yom beyomo. Day by day. The message of Sfirat HaOmer is that living one day at a time is a year-round success formula for facing and confronting the challenges of life. To achieve spiritual growth, you have to live what? Day by day. Take it one day at a time. And then, Abraham, I haven't got time for the pain.
I like it.
Please hear this. She said, he said, person is full of anger, resentment, grudge. I haven't got time for the pain because today is the first day of the rest of my life. I'm counting Sfira, Zman Mizuman. I haven't got time to be angry. I haven't got time to be resentful. I haven't got time for the pain because I'm too busy counting the Sfira.
Wow.
There's a strange pasuk in Parshas Vayechi, Reb Moshe. Parshas Vayechi, it says Yaakov blessed the grandchildren. Vayevorchem bayoim ahu lemor. Parshas Vayechi, Yaakov calls his grandchildren. Says he blessed them on that day, repeating. Isn't that a strange pasuk? Rabbi Avram, what day was it? Wednesday or Thursday? Says Vayevorchem bayoim ahu lemor. Yaakov blessed them, the grandchildren, on that day, repeating. Make any sense to you? Rapam Zatzal asked, the Torah is not, I need to know that 3,700 years ago, Yaakov blessed his kids on that day. Doesn't say what day it was. Never on a Monday. Who cares what day it was? And what has Lamor got to do with it? Fasten your seatbelts. Says Rapam Zatzal, the Torah is GPS, God's personal system. What's the greatest blessing a grandfather can give his kinderlech? Vayevorchem. You have to know where to put the commas. Let's eat, Grandpa. Let's eat, Grandpa. Vayevorchem. He blessed them. Bayoim ahu lemor. Kinderlach, keep, what does lemor mean? Repeat. Kinderlach, keep repeating. Every day is that special day. Can it be a more beautiful bracha a grandpa can give his kinderlach? You have to know where to put the commas. Otherwise you'll eat your grandpa. I had a grandpa live with us, you know. And I knocked on his door one day with a knife and fork, and I said, let's eat Grandpa. He jumped out the window. Good thing we lived on the ground floor. Then I knocked again. I said, let's eat, Grandpa. He says, now you're talking, Sonny. What's for dinner? So you got to know where to put the commas. Vayevorchem. He blessed the kinderlach, Sarah. Bayoim ahu lemor. You want to be successful in life? Keep repeating lemor to yourself. Bayoim ahu. Every day of your life is what? That special day, that magic moment. If you live like that, what a wonderful world it would be.
Wow.
I don't have time to be upset. I have no time to be angry or to bear a grudge. Because every day is Bayoy Mahu. I'm counting Sfira every day of my life. I can't be busy with nonsense. He said, she said.
Yeah.
Doesn't concern me. I'm counting Sfira. Every day is Bayoy Mahu, Lamor. Keep repeating that. And then you'll have a successful life. You won't have time, haven't got time for the pain. Who sang that? Carly Simon, a Jewish maidel.
Yeah.
Got everything from us. That's pretty amazing, right? Now, we stay up on Shavuos night, right? Why do we stay up on Shavuos night? So the Medrash says, because what? Why was a kol to brakim? Thunder and lightning. So the Medrash says, Pikad of Elazar says, that what? We fell asleep. Sleeping Beauty. The chassan is under the chuppah. He's holding the mountain. Who's the chassan? And the kala is what? Sleeping. Can you imagine, Avram, Sleeping Beauty? You overslept your wedding night. So to be metaking that, the Magen Avraham brings the Medrash, Pirkei of Rabbi Lezer. To be metaking that, we what?
Stay awake.
We stay awake. So Rav Soloveitchik says he doesn't understand this Medrash. We're counting 49 days. Anticipation is making me wait. The Kala can't wait. The Arusa's counting up to be together with her beloved. So Dafkin, when the day comes, what? She falls asleep. It doesn't make sense. Rav Soloveitchik says, versteht nicht the Medrash. Jedes Rabbi Abraham. Anticipation. We're counting eagerly the Kala to be with the Chatan. So when the day comes, you fall asleep. Says Rav Soloveitchik, no. They didn't fall asleep. They went to sleep. Say what? In Pashas Bahaloischa, how does a Navi get a Nevuah? God says, B'chaloim adaber bo. A regular Navi, besides Moshe Rabbeinu, gets a Nevuah, B'chalom adaber bo. In order to dream, you have to what? Fall asleep. The Navi went to sleep, and then God came in a dream. So if Soloveitchik explains, they didn't fall asleep. They knew that on Shavuos, God is going to come and speak to them the Torah. So a regular Navi has to go to sleep to get the Nevuah. They didn't fall asleep. They purposely went to sleep to get the Nevuah. Because a regular Navi, what? B'chalom adaber bo. That's a regular Navi. Moshe Rabbeinu, panim bepanim. So it says by Shavuos in Deuteronomy 4, panim bepanim, diber Hashem imachem bahar mitoch ha'esh. Deuteronomy 4, you can look it up. It says panim bepanim, diber Hashem imachem bahar mitoch ha'esh. What does panim bepanim mean? No. That's what ArtScroll says. But it doesn't say panim el panim. It says panim bepanim. Face in your face. They got everything from us, Nechama. Deuteronomy 4 says panim bepanim. God's face, kaviyachol, in your face. Did God in your face? ArtScroll says to your face. But that's not correct, because to your face would be panim el panim. Or panim le panim. It says panim be panim. Don't play around with the text. Can you send them an email? I'm not joking. 1916 Coney Island Avenue in Brooklyn. It's not a joke. They didn't. They said face to your face to face, but that's not. It doesn't say le panim or el panim. It says panim be panim. In your face. So at Shavuos, all the Yidden reached the Madrega of Moshe Rabbeinu. The Yidden underestimated themselves. They thought they're going to be like a regular Navi. So they have to go to sleep to get to the war. But God says, no. On Shavuos, Matan Torah, you're all going to reach the level of Panim Bepanim, Dibur Hashem Yimachem Bahar Mitoch Ha'esh. Deuteronomy 4. You're all going to reach Moshe Rabbeinu. He's the only Navi that got to the Nevuah, not in a dream. So Rav Soloveitchik says, Shavuos is the lesson, Yidden, don't underestimate yourselves. That magic moment, we reached the level of Moshe Rabbeinu. We couldn't hold that level. Moshe was able to hold that level. We couldn't hold that level. But for one magic moment, we reached the level of Panim Bepanim Dibur Hashem Yimachem. So God, not they fell asleep. They purposely went to sleep. They underestimated themselves. So the message is, on Shavuos, a Jew is not allowed to underestimate himself. Go for the gold. Panim bepanim dibur Hashem yimachem. We all reached that level of Moshe Rabbeinu. We couldn't hold it. But we were there for a magic moment. Thank you very much.